So I have some more thoughts about the Saw X movie. The video that I made before made a huge splash. Everyone was talking about it. It was very controversial. It made the news and stuff. No one saw that one. But I just wanted to talk more about it because I feel like there's some stuff that I didn't mention or even really think about before. It seems like John Kramer is actually just a liar. Because he is saying how everything is supposed to be fair. They're supposed to get a chance to save their lives, because then that means he's not actually killing people, allegedly. But the way that this trap, the whole all-encompassing story thing, it didn't work unless the people died. The whole thing was set up so that Valentina and Mateo and Gabriella would all die. Because at the end of it, he apparently knew that Parker, his name's Parker, would come back and then force him, and then in his mind it was going to be Amanda, then it turned out to be Carlos, into the trap with the bloodboarding. But then that wouldn't have worked if anyone else was alive. And there was like no time allotted for them to go take these people to the hospital. If Valentina survived the lip sync for your life, then she would have just been chilling there with her whole ass thigh out, marrow leaking out of the hole, and he would have had to, take her to the hospital in order to save her because she would not have had that much time left. Or maybe he would have cauterized it himself or something. But there was no time allotted for that because they didn't know when Parker was going to show up. They didn't even plan for her to make it to the hospital. What were they going to do? Were they going to take a break if she survived and then be like, all right, let's get her to the hospital before we start the next one? Because if they didn't do that, then she would probably just die of blood loss anyway. Was the plan for her to die? Also, was the plan for Norwegian Candace Owen? Nope. Was the plan for Cecilia to use her intestines as a rope? Was that in Jigsaw's brain? Because the only reason why she was able to call Parker to begin with was because she used Valentina's dead body as an intestine rope and then pulled the thing toward her to get the phone to call Parker. Otherwise, what would she have done to get the phone? Maybe there was something else she could have done. Also, the only reason why she knew that the phone was there was because it rang. It didn't look like they called the phone from the other room. They were having like a conversation. I mean, I guess they could have off screen when they weren't talking or something. But it's a similar case for Mateo because if he survived, he would have had his whole brain exposed. Not his whole brain, but a lot of it. A part of it. Too much of your brain to be exposed. That would have been exposed to God and whoever else on a Tuesday. And then he would just be, chilling there? Or they would take him to a hospital. Also, what are they going to tell these people at the hospital? Are they just going to dump them on the side and then drive away really fast and then go back to the secret hideout? That's nonsense. That doesn't make any sense. The only conclusion that this can come to is that Jigsaw was planning on them to die. He had no intention of letting them survive the challenges. None of it would have worked. None of it would, no ma'am. The plan at the end, the way that he knew that Parker was going to come back, if there were other people who were alive, wouldn't have worked. Jigsaw, you got some splaining to do. It would be kind of funny though. What if Parker never came? What if she never figured out a way to call him? So then Parker just never showed up. And then they got to the end. It was just like an awkward moment of them being like, well, now we have this trap that's meant for two people. Maybe they would hear Carlos outside and then put him in the trap too. And then John Kramer would be like, holla Carlos, telling him to pull so that he gets bloodboarded. I don't know. Does John Kramer care about the fact that these people know that he is Jigsaw? Does he care? I guess at some point in the original series, the police end up knowing that John Kramer is Jigsaw, so I guess maybe his identity being known is not a big thing. But it is interesting that no one ever really even mentioned that. The taxi driver knew who John Kramer was. He had all of his details and everything. That guy is just out free knowing John Kramer's identity. He doesn't really seem to care about that, though. And then Celia, she knows his identity. She knows his whole story. She knows where he lives, basically, right? This movie is trying really hard to make you feel sympathetic for John Kramer or something when I didn't. And also, if you're familiar with the series, you know he's gonna die of cancer. And also, if you've seen the series, and also if you've seen the trailer, you know what's gonna happen halfway through the movie. So I don't understand the tension that they're trying to build when all of the answers are already in plain sight. Everyone already knows what's going to happen. It's not really lending itself to a sympathetic character to me. It just made me bored at the beginning, waiting for things to start. At the end of the day, we all know what Jigsaw does. We all know where Jigsaw goes. We all know where he's headed. Into the grave dumpster. Well, that's not a thing. People don't say that. I don't understand the point of really trying to build up this emotional arc for him, because it doesn't work. Because this is between the first and the second one. In the first one, Jigsaw had already been known to the cops. They were like, he's the Jigsaw killer. So he had been killing people before. So it's not like this was some emotional turning point for him where he decided to do no good anymore. He had already been doing this. And so we're basically looking at a situation where there is a guy who is a known serial killer, and apparently we're supposed to feel bad for him because he got scammed? Why would I feel bad for him? I think he should get scammed, because then he won't have money to build more death traps. Those people at the scam depot or whatever, they're bad too. But how is Jigsaw gonna say that they're worse than him? Because Jigsaw would not pass his own test. Let's be clear about that. You're gonna sit there and say they're bad people because they trick people? Sir, you do more than trick people. You trick people and then you kill them. Or make them survive without a leg or whatever. How are you gonna claim the moral high ground on these people? You're in a position to punish them? Bitch, no you're not. And you deserve to be in that test at the end. And I know you were gonna be in it anyway and you put yourself there, but you had a lot of confidence going into that, first of all, because you are a feeble man, Jigsaw. You are feeble. And you were really, really convinced that you were going to not die of the bloodboarding. I just think that this entire game is antithetical to what Jigsaw purports to believe. And that is that he's not killing people. That everyone gets a second chance. He's out here saying, we need to get Gabriella to the hospital after she's on the ground. Knowing full well she's not going to no damn hospital. He knew that Parker was in the back. Parker was in there. He knew exactly what was going to happen. He knew that they weren't going to let them go to the hospital. You're a liar. You're a thief. I don't know if he's a thief, but he's a liar and a murderer. And he's kind of ugly. That's rude. I didn't mean